I'm going to share my screen. And then my presentation. All right. Hi, I'm Cheryl Tice, an instructional support specialist in New York State. My Ignite session is about Edcamp staff meetings, an idea that I shared with my districts at the end of last school year. I wanted to help establish an Edcamp culture in my districts where everyone has conversations around educational topics of interest. The K-6 buildings in one of my districts decided to jump in and give them a try, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Edcamps typically last all day long, but I wanted to start small with staff meetings. The point of an Edcamp is for educators to determine the topics that are important to them and develop conversations around them. The agenda is made by participants the day of an Edcamp, so automatically it's purposeful and meaningful to the participants. Every Edcamp is unique and based on the needs of the participants. Teachers receive a lot of professional development. I think it's so important for teachers to have time set aside to talk to each other and to share, or to research ways to use the strategies and tools that they've been learning about. That's why I thought it'd be a good idea to start small with staff meetings and make them teacher-directed to help build community within each building. My goal is to offer our own all-day Edcamp in our region in the summer of 2017. The information shared during an Edcamp is based around conversations, not pre-prepared presentations. Like I said before, Edcamps typically last a full day, but Edcamp staff meetings last an hour or two, depending on the length of a normal staff meeting. And teachers who might have shied away from sharing before increasingly become more willing to share with practice, especially given free rein to determine the topics most important to them. Edcamps build community. If teachers have time set aside specifically to talk about topics of their own choosing, they'll rely on each other more for collaboration and information. And Edcamp staff meetings encourage an atmosphere where teachers feel inspired to ask each other questions and have conversations to learn new things and improve professional practice. Beginning with brief conversations helps shift from the usual sit and get type of training to taking ownership of the information that's shared. Educators are curriculum experts, and they're doing so many great things that should be shared and celebrated. Starting with short conversations and working toward lengthier ones helps shift the way teachers in a school interact with each other. This strategy offers a positive shift in the school's culture. Over the years, I've seen some pretty awesome things that teachers in our region are doing. When I suggest sharing, they are shy about it. They think they're showing off or bragging. Giving them more opportunities to share helps reduce that reluctance and fosters habits that help strengthen collaboration. That's part of the shift in culture that I mentioned before. This year, I've watched teachers become more comfortable sharing with colleagues as a result of these meetings. It helps develop a sense of community, sharing, and support in the school, which is really awesome to watch. In addition to attending as many of these meetings as possible, I did an informal survey at the end of the year to see what teachers thought of these meetings. These meetings worked best when there were few, if any, constraints. Debriefing is an important part of this process, and talking about what works and what doesn't as you go along is extremely important. There's nothing better than teachers showing teachers what works in their classrooms. Over and over again, their feedback about the skills, resources, and passion projects that they worked on over this school year collaboratively was very positive, Edcamps depend on the participants to be invested in the process. That's so important. With the limited time teachers have to do their day-to-day duties, the fact that Edcamp staff meetings require very little advanced prep makes them feel more relaxed and easier to get into. The fact that teachers can focus on topics and projects of interest that they choose make them even better and more inviting. Give teachers time to have meaningful conversations. I think Edcamps and Edcamp staff meetings are a good place to start. Here's my information, and if you'd like to get in touch, please let me know if you have questions or if you'd like me to share any of the materials that I've created for my districts. I'd be happy to share. Thanks a lot.